stuff they know. Don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant. If you were feeling at all like you missed pre-show gold, you did not. I can just assure you, you did not. Let's continue.
I have it. If anyone wants to send me $20, I have a
no,
pre-show gold clip you could have.
It's an exclusive for our Patreon members.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we don't have a Patreon.
We could, but we don't.
Our Patreon members at the premier level, yes. Yeah.
Yes. As we've said, and as some of us are concerned about, we are now on video. Check us out on YouTube. The Regular Joe's podcast.
Mostly because we know we have an episode coming up soon that won't be on video.
That's right.
More on that soon.
Yes.
But, check us out on YouTube, the Regular Joe's podcast. We appreciate you get to see all the stuff we're talking about, all our fun backgrounds.
And while you're there, you can like and subscribe.
I don't know that I guess you could like the episode, but please subscribe. It would be helpful if you subscribe. You know, we'll move the Regular Joe's movies that, well, they're not I guess they're the Regular Joe's movies. They used to be on a different channel. We're going to move them here. They have a ton of views, so you'll get to see movies we made in the past. I thought you were going to say something, Barry.
No, we made them a long time ago. But
one of them has 25,000 views.
I know, they're fun.
They're fun.
G.I. Joe related movies.
That's a lot of bots indexing. That's what that is. Okay. So.
It's a lot of what?
Bots.
He's saying that people didn't actually watch those videos.
That's not true at all. I got a ton of comments on that, the Real Story, the Adventure Team. Every week, I still get a comment about it.
Todd's just denying our success, Dave.
That's what it is.
Todd's anti-social media. I don't.
I will absolutely totally admit that. Yes, I am.
We have our Titus thing has 50,000 views. Our Titus post.
That would be Titus Welliver.
Titus Welliver, good friend of the show.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going to talk about auctions. It's like, not only is it auction season, but it's like freaking auction week and a half.
It's auction frenzy.
It's a frenzy.
We're auction-a-palooza.
We're going to talk about 3 auctions, but I actually know of at least 2 or 3 others that are all happening in the same time.
You do? Is there anything we should know about?
Probably not that necessarily. Well, I'll talk about it when we get into the auction discussion.
So the auctions that are going on, actually, by the time you listen to this, it'll be over. The Jim Henson Company auction through Julian's is tomorrow, as we were on Tuesday. We're recording this on Monday the 24th. Then Prop Store auction, and then the Heritage auction. They never used to be stacked up. I think the Henson one it's a special thing. It's not like an all the time.
Yeah, and we know Heritage does a lot of auctions all the time, but there are 2 other Heritage auctions in the same time frame that are notable. One of them, December 6th and 7th, is a collection of Star Wars movie posters, like the most complete collection of Star Wars movie posters ever auctioned off in one shot. This guy, Doug Holt, or Hott, I don't know how you pronounce the last name. It's 2 days of just every Star Wars poster from every country. That's
really
every version.
I didn't see that. I have to check that out.
And then same guy, they've got his toy collection that they're also auctioning off on December. What day did I write down? Yeah, it's in the same time frame. I don't know if I made note of that date, but I think it's either the same day. It's either December 6th or 7th. He's got like every Star Wars action figure from Kenner back in the 80s, and every playset and everything graded and carded and all kinds of stuff. So that's also happening right in the middle of all this.
That guy who had that who did that auction, who had that crazy basement.
The Doug Jacobs auction, yeah.
Did that happen already?
I think I know at least part of it happened. I think they broke it up into multiple sessions. I don't know if they've all happened yet, but I know.
I'm assuming it did well. Maybe that's why this guy's auctioning off all his stuff. Who the hell knows?
Yep.
But
there's also
a lot of auctions.
December 5th, there's a rock and roll memorabilia auction going on based out of New York. And then December 16th and 17th is Joe Walsh's guitar and gear collection. It's like it's all happening between now and the middle of December. It's like
All that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like doesn't seem like the right time of year to be doing it, but whatever. I don't know. Anyway, let's go some random. Todd, what do you got?
So, an image just came out of Marvel Studios that shows what MODOK was supposed to look like from Ant-Man 3. And I got to say, this just convinces me that every decision they made in Ant-Man 3 was bad. Because it actually looks kind of cool. And it's like, this is the rejected design in favor of what they did, which was just gross and creepy. I mean, that's a lot more MODOK-like. And and it's just like, yeah, every decision they made in that movie was bad. So
that was
we were talking the other night, my wife and I think there's only a handful of Marvel movies I've only ever seen once, and Quantumania is one of them.
Oh yeah,
it's going to stay in that box for me because, like I said, there's a few, I think, things that were kind of cool and clever, but yeah, it just.
I won't watch a few of them either. Yeah, that's one of them. The Eternals for sure. I had
Eternals, that one, Thor: Dark World. Just
Love and Thunder is worse than the Dark World.
Love and Thunder is way worse than Dark World.
No, but I'm saying Love and Thunder, but it's just
I won't even let it be on if I will flip right past it. I know.
And I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it again, but I've only ever seen Shang-Chi once. Like, I've never gone back and rewatched it.
There's no reason not to rewatch that other than, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's just other things I think I'd rather rewatch. It didn't make an impression on me.
Rogue Nation, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, that is literally on every hour on the hour for the past week. I just don't get it. I don't know why it's constantly on. There's some movies that they just put on, like, if Starz has like 4 channels, it's on one of those channels all the time. They just rotate stuff like that. I don't know why, but what are you gonna do? Barry, what do you got?
In keeping with our auction topic, Heritage last week auctioned off a graded 9.0 copy of Superman #1 with the buyer's premium, went for $9.1 million, the most expensive comic book ever sold.
And interestingly, I mean, that's not even the first appearance of Superman. It's just the first Superman issue. The
previous record was Action Comics number 15.
Not 15. And
number 1.
Supposedly these guys found this thing in an attic. Like, it wasn't even like in somebody's collection being like,
no, it was
for.
an attic find, and that's
It was I read the story. The story was these guys' mom for years and years told them there's valuable comics. I just don't know where they are. And then unfortunately she passed away, and they waited a few years to dig through, and it was in a box of newspaper clippings. And there it was, a $9 million comic. Listen to your mother, people.
Yeah. Well, and
crazy.
This goes to show you've got to go through every box, because you never know what's hiding between the magazine clippings.
The fact that a 80-plus-year-old comic could just be in that good a condition is
9.0. I mean, like, brand new comics. If you brought a brand new comic,
you won't get a 9.
It might not get a 9.0.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So good for those guys. I'm glad that they found it, and I'm glad that they sold it, and that number is astounding.
Yeah, for sure. 2 quick things with the number 4. So the Mummy 4 is happening, apparently. These days you see a lot more pictures of stuff. So that we're seeing Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz and all the other people in like costume fittings, and they're putting out a ton of pictures. I mean, I like the Mummy. I liked at least the first 2. I don't really remember the other ones, but I like Brendan Fraser, so I think happy for them that they're making another one. And then Jon Favreau says Mando season 4 is on his desk. Whether that means it will stay there or it will happen, we don't know.
See, and I read that interview as well, and what I don't understand, because yes, they wrote a season 4, and then they pivoted and made a movie, and I don't know if the plot of the movie came out of season 4 or if it's a completely separate thing.
He did say that season, whatever it is completely separate from the movie.
Okay.
So,
well, if the movie does well, maybe they'll greenlight another season.
I don't know why they wouldn't have another season.
I don't think they want to spend the kind of money on the Disney Plus series that they had been spending up to this point. So unless they think they can make it on the cheap.
I think that's the flagship of the Star Wars series. I think that's the one that they keep pumping money into. I can't see that being a cutback.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I could see not doing new stuff like the Acolyte. Never seeing another thing like that, which would not be bad.
But is it almost
and even something like Andor, not seeing reaches like that. But that's such a safe bet that.
But it's been a long time
but it's still
without
TV. And if the movie does really well, they may want a sequel that goes to the big screen and not.
True.
Okay, I see. I would say. See, but you had just said that if it does well, they might want to do another. See, and I think I was thinking in my head the reverse. If it does well, they're going to see it as a movie property, and we'll never see them on TV again.
It's hard to go from TV, a movie, then back to TV. It's almost to me, it almost cheapens the movie. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like
you go the Chris Carter route with X-Files, where you promise everything's going to be explained in the movie, explain nothing, and then go back to TV again.
Chris Carter needs to be punched in the face repeatedly.
I mean, the only Star Wars show that we know of that's coming right now is Ahsoka Season 2. There's nothing announced after that. I mean, there was a point in time where we knew like 2 or 3 things deep what was coming at some point in the future.
It's good that they've stopped talking about things that aren't going to happen.
I agree with that, too.
They got to get their act together. Well, they got 2 things coming.
I would say that the not talking about things that weren't going to happen was a lot more films than TV, though.
For sure.
I got to say, I think we got almost everything they said they were going to do.
Yeah,
almost.
True.
Not everything, though. There was a droid show we were supposed to get that we never got.
Yep.
And there might have been 1 or 2 other things. I mean, well, there were some movies that got morphed into TV shows, too. Like, originally Obi-Wan was going to be a trilogy of films, and that got morphed into a
what do we?
lackluster series.
Mando and Grogu is May next year.
Yep.
Is Ahsoka going to be before that or after that?
After. They haven't announced the date, but I'm assuming it's going to be after.
They'd be smart to if they did like just keep it to movie, 6 months later a TV show, 6 months later a movie, 6 months later a TV show. I mean, that's almost not enough. I feel like you need more TV than that.
Right now, the only other things that we know are happening, we've got the Mandalorian and Grogu, we've got Ahsoka Season 2, and we've got Starfighter.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the cadence. It's going to probably be...
That's officially announced right now. So
yeah. Wow.
Other than the Daisy Ridley Ray movie that keeps coming off the calendar. So
why isn't there anything animated in the pipeline right now? I mean, it's like
there probably is. They just haven't announced it.
But it's like, shouldn't they be talking about that? I mean, it's like everything has been so good, but they've wrapped it all up, and it's like that's all. That whole era is behind us. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in upheaval a bit.
It after Bad Batch, I expected we would hear the next thing. And I
left off the Darth Maul series. There is an animated show coming next year. It's the Darth Maul series.
Okay. I didn't remember hearing about that. But I was going to say, I feel like they've got that Mandalorian era they've never touched on, that they could do side stories in there. They could do a bunch of things in that time, that 40 years that they've got to play with. So they don't have to look backwards. But
and I'm sure the Darth Maul series will be a lot of fun. I'm not super excited about it because I just feel like how many times have we killed that character off and now we keep going back and telling stories about him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
He's going to have caterpillar legs now. He's going to have this whole it's going to be any other random.
So speaking of things that are getting a sequel with unannounced timing, Michael Giacchino did say in an interview that they are doing a Werewolf by Night sequel.
I did read that.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, and the other one, which I've been holding this one, I guess, because we haven't had a chance to talk about it. November 19th, 2027. We're getting Gremlins 3.
Yeah, I've been holding my breath for that.
37 years later. And they said Steven Spielberg is back on executive producer.
Oh,
and Chris Columbus, the writer of the original one, is returning to produce and direct.
Is Phoebe Cates in it?
I think she's retired from acting, so I don't know. But
she just counts money now.
Yeah, Gremlins 3 coming your way, November 19th, 2027.
You know, I haven't. I was hesitant to mention this, but not that it matters. I haven't seen it. So that Allison Mack, who was in prison for that whole Nexium, is out and was on the Michael Rosenbaum podcast.
Yeah.
For like I've got it downloaded. I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah, it's on video too.
She's been doing the whole circuit.
She's got her own podcast that they're releasing one episode a week where she's telling her side of the story. And then I saw she was on Michael Rosenbaum, which I do want to watch because I was deeply obsessed with that whole thing when all those documentaries were out.
I never watched any of that, but I like his is interesting, and he's no BS kind of deal.
I want to see how she characterizes her involvement because
I'm surprised she's
on
out
the
of
documentaries. She was in deep, and she did.
How was she out of jail so quickly? It's only a couple years.
Yeah, well, I mean, she wasn't the main person.
Yeah, but that I don't know if it was in.
Keith Raniere was the main guy, and he's not. I don't know if he's ever getting out of jail.
I think her spin on this is she got sucked into it, and then she did bad. She basically did the same thing that was done to her because she was like kind of programmed to do that. And she now says she should have resisted it, but she didn't, and so on and so forth. I read an article about it.
She was in it deep. She was in it for over 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Was it that long? Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Barry would be the one that would know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm up on my Nexium lore.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to... I'll watch his podcast because it's interesting. That is crazy. You know what's not crazy? Were you going to say something?
Collectibles. I was. It doesn't matter. I was just going to.
Fanboy Collectibles, like we say every week in the past couple weeks, it's the holiday season. It's the gift giving and gift getting and buying yourself gift season, except for Barry.
I've been good this year.
Have you? You deserve to get gifts? Or you've been good at not buying them?
I do have something very large sitting here that I guarantee neither of you were planning to buy for me that just showed up. But
Todd, any comment?
We'll see.
Anyway,
it's much bigger than a helmet.
But they got everything you need: Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys and Kotobukiya and Hasbro and places like So Toys and all kinds of stuff. They really have everything you need and everything.
And I know none of us go deep on Funko Pops, but the Stadler and Waldorf Funko Pop 2-pack is pretty damn cool.
That is awesome. I seriously been thinking about that. Also, it's funny how they just every once in a while hit one that just like the Wendy Pop from Alien Earth just looks like her.
Yeah,
they'll just kind of hit it. And for a while, sometimes they all look the same. Hey, get your Pops while you can, folks.
There's cool ones. There's like there's like specialty ones like flocked ones and I think a flocked aliens one or something. But anyway, they got everything. Check those guys out. They have statues. Iron Studios and all the other places that make statues. There's a ton of awesome statues. So go online, fanboycollectibles.com. You can order right there. You can call them, ask them to get you something. If you don't see it, maybe they can do that. You never know. Also, go to the store.
Torso. Just saying.
I don't think they can invent a toy that doesn't exist yet, but they could probably find something if
Hot
it
Toys
does
is
exist.
making that, so you can get it from Hot Toys.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll talk about that in a second. But check those guys out. Go to a store in Newtown, Connecticut, and tell them Regular Joe sent you. It would be funny if they did add the... I wouldn't put it past Hot Toys to add the bottom half of her body as like in the deluxe pack.
Yeah, it's just like I said,
it's not hard to make
really,
that though.
I would totally buy. I don't know that I'd buy a Hot Toys figure with her, but I would totally buy just an action figure with the legs because I just did put it on the shelf. That was so awesome.
Well, it would be cool. She's not on his back. Is she on his back while the legs are fighting.
No, she's not. She's in the
She's
little
like
box.
sort of.
Yeah. Barry, you got to see this just for.
Oh, you haven't seen the movie?
Trust me, I want to see it. I really want to see it.
Her basically severed legs go autonomous, and I mean, there's basically a waist and 2 legs, and like a fragment of a spine, kicking ass. It's like
I have a feeling that by the time I'm free enough to see it, it's going to probably be out of theater, so I might have to wait for streaming. But
yeah,
and just
good.
following up on something Todd said. So we didn't talk about it on the air. We talked about it amongst ourselves in chat. But yeah, Funko basically doesn't think they can operate for beyond the next X number of months. So they're probably going out of business or seriously restructuring. So if you want a Funko Pop, now's the time to buy it.
I'm sure there's going to be a glut of them someplace. I mean, they probably just made too much stuff.
No, these are rare collectibles.
Is it the like Beanie Babies? Is Pop going to be the Beanie Babies?
It said in the documents they filed in early November, it said that they have substantial doubt about their ability to continue operating over the next 12 months. So
should have figured it out.
Okay, so here's my thing, and it's always been my thing with Pops. And how do they get all of these licenses? I mean, are they just like license poor at this point? I mean, do they have so much money tied up in IP that they can't make enough plastic things? Because
I don't know. I mean,
could have been that
or
thing,
it's run its course, and maybe they're just not selling anymore.
Maybe it was something where like
whether they've just gotten too obscure with a lot of these things, and every iteration sells fewer.
But they got popular, and then every IP wanted to be on the bandwagon because they, it's a good, easy, cheap way to get your.
That's actually good.
And then they're like,
their ability
"How do
to
we say
get
no?"
So fast, like where a action figure company, the toys come out a year after the movie, the Pops are like right there when the minute the movie.
The head
comes
is
out.
the same on almost all of them.
I imagine the likeness approval process is very different.
Pretty
for a
easy.
Pop.
Okay, he's got big eyes.
Not going to Robert Downey Jr. with a bunch of heads in a box and saying, "What about this one?"
Yeah.
But there are. I mean, every one of them that's tied to a property, while the heads are basically the same, it's like the costumes. They're like they do unique sculpting for every one of these things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a little easier than other stuff,
without question. Yeah.
So
100%. It's just it. I have a handful of them in my own collection and whatever, but like I've never understood them, but I'm not surprised to see them.
I find them cool. I think every once in a while the one that comes out that just like I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But the idea of just having like the volume of these that some people have is just baffling to me.
Well,
I can
and
see
for 5. I'm going to say for at least the last 5 years, it's been a big thing to get them signed. Like we see them at the autograph shows, and it's like
if you do go online, you can see people who just have walls and walls of these things, and that's where, like I said, I could see representing like your 5 favorite franchises or your favorite. We had some director ones, things like that. Like I said, I've got some that I really really like, and
I've always questioned the validity of getting them signed because at the point that they become a worthless collectible, it's a worthless signed collectible versus a photo that's maybe of the character or something.
Yeah.
Like I just wonder, do those signed ones not hold their autograph value the way they would if it was on a poster or a photo?
Okay, I'm gonna make the prediction right now. They are not going away.
No,
someone is going to take this over and they're going to run it better. And that's what's going to happen. It's still going to be a thing.
I thought it was
or
the
they've
licensing,
exhausted every possible thing that they can make. And
what else? They literally have run out of everything that they could make.
And that's what I'm saying. Now they're into the really really obscure things, but there's still going to be new movies coming out. They're still going to need to make Wicked Pops. They're still going to need to make stuff like that. But it's just got to be absorbed into somebody else's other business so that they're not surviving on that. And we'll see.
Hey, good luck. I don't want to see anyone have a problem, but I could
No,
totally
me neither. I mean, I'm not
see
like
them
I'm
running
wishing
their
them-
course. Look at Beanie Babies; they ran their course.
Yeah.
All that stuff. All right, we're going to talk auctions. Like we said, we're not going to go crazy, but here's the Jim Henson one is interesting. they almost, you see some stuff in auctions, but it's rare. Stuff does not get out of the Jim Henson Company. And in all honesty, some of the information I'm going to relay is from another podcast. The Stuff Gyms Are Made of had talked about the auction and had like the CEO of the Henson Company on or something.
But had one of Henson's children on talking.
Yeah,
about
the
it.
daughter and But so they basically have.
But this auction is all coming from the Henson Company directly.
Themselves. Not only that, it's at the Henson Company. It would be, if I was in LA, I would totally go just to go to.
To go to that lot and be on the lot while they're And I think that's an important distinction here, though, is that almost every auction we talk about, it's collectors that are consigning their own personal items into an auction. This is a company auctioning their own stuff off. This
is anything you get, whether it's a $20, no $20 item, a $500 item, or a $50,000 item is coming from them. So they basically, here's the deal. If you're like, oh my God, I need a Kermit, there's no Muppets in this. Interestingly enough, there are a lot of puppets in this. And I know that came up as a discussion on that other podcast, that what's a puppet and what's a Muppet. But they call things puppet. The Dark Crystal and Fraggle Rock are called puppets, not Muppets. Kermit, Fozzie, Elmo, whoever.
Piggy, those things.
Grover, those are Muppets. There's no Muppets in here. I mean, and I get it. That's their main property. But there's a Muppet adjacent stuff.
And I also don't think that anything that's in here is a one of a kind. I think that they went through and they found things that they had probably multiples of, and they're
that's what I was getting to. What they've said is the reason why they're doing this auction is that they are keeping one of everything in their archive. I think they are putting one of everything is a broad term. One of everything in certain museum type settings.
Yeah.
The museum in Long Island or Queens is the Museum of the Motion.
Museum of the Moving Image,
that one
in Queens.
And then there's one in Seattle. There's a couple others that they have Smithsonian. There's stuff out there. So they're like, we just don't. And they are moving away from that lot. They're closing that lot and moving someplace else. So they're like, let's get rid of some of this stuff. Let's let the fans have it. So. That being said, I think there's cool stuff. There's a lot of stuff like, if you're not into the Dark Crystal, like Todd just said, a third of this stuff is the Dark Crystal and the new Dark Crystal movie.
Well, and I think that was the catalyst for them doing this, was when they did that production of that Dark Crystal TV show over in Europe, and all of that stuff got shipped back to them, and they were like, what are we going to do with all this stuff?
Right.
So that was kind of like, all right, well, if we're going to auction that, let's also find some other items in our archive that maybe we can make it more than just a Dark Crystal.
I think there's some cool stuff in here.
I found some cool stuff in there that I thought was worth talking about.
Yeah, and there's like Jim Henson's own stuff. Like, I guess he had this very particular way of dressing with like these shirts and ties, and they're auctioning off his stuff. I mean, this dude is, he's the Steven Spielberg of puppets. I mean, this guy is a visionary dude. I mean,
God, yeah.
If not George Lucas.
I would say the Steven Spielberg and Steve Jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point. He was in my head too. He is like, if you put up 20th century visionaries of entertainment and technology, he's up there with the Steve Jobs and Spielberg and Lucas and whoever else, for sure. I mean, he invented a whole thing. So it's cool to have some of his stuff. But, Todd, is there something that in particular you were lamenting on how much stuff there was that you were not interested in? And I get it. I'm with you. There's a lot.
I got to say, I would be hard-pressed to find something here that I really felt like I couldn't live without. I'm still scrolling through it. I mean, there's things that Statler and Waldorf's grandfather clock is kind of cool. That you can explain.
There's things that are cool. I mean,
forever. I was disappointed that, I saw a couple Farscape things and I was like, oh, there's going to be Farscape stuff in here. There's not. Really
they probably got rid of all that stuff already. I wouldn't be surprised if that went out in an auction a long time ago.
Or never came back to them. I have not found a single thing that I would be gaga over. How about you guys?
Well, there were a couple for me. I'll jump in on. I'll throw at least one of them out there, and then Dave, you can go, and then I can always come back around. But I did watch Fraggle Rock. I'm not gonna lie.
He was 39 when he watched it.
I was not 39, but the traveling Matt puppet, which is $40,000 to $60,000 estimate, it's no joke. But that is cool. But the Dozer puppet, is awesome.
Ryan said, I don't know what you're talking about. We're the Dave and you're the Ryan, but Ryan's 20 years younger than you.
Fraggle Rock, there were a lot of them. They were these little, even though Fraggles were little, these were even smaller creatures that built everything in Fraggle Rock. And they were like construction crew, but they were the cutest thing.
They were the minions of their day, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So they've got
I think there were cool things like little snakes and worms that were cool puppets.
Yep,
but I don't know. I've never seen a second of any of that.
So that to me was, if I could only keep one thing, that might be it. Although there might be one or two other things in here that I would want more.
Yeah, my much younger sister watched Fraggle Rock, so I do have memories of watching it. I don't remember any of this stuff.
And I'd like to know what year it was.
So this is not even like, to me, this isn't even the standout stuff from Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, right. I mean, again, they're not giving up the main characters, but
there's tons of actual Fraggle Rock puppets there.
Yes,
for sure. I mean,
but those were all like background characters. None of them
really? Is it? But there were Fraggles, I thought.
Yeah, but there were Fraggles, but then there were like 4 or 5 that were the main characters, and those aren't in this catalog.
Okay, so just to be clear, Fraggle Rock puppets are not Muppets.
That, and honestly, that's according to this catalog. I would not have thought
not
that.
Muppets, and they're not Fruppets, or they're
they're calling them puppets.
Okay, good.
Okay, what about you?
The thing that we'll go early. Ask the question. The thing, if I can have one thing out of here, it would be the Emmett Otter Jug Band Christmas Squirrel. You know, I am Team Squirrel. I literally feeding.
Had you pegged for that.
I think that totally looks like a Muppet. You know, if I had my choice, I'd have like a Rizzo or his little rat friends. But that totally fits in with those guys.
It's right up there.
That, to me, is a Muppet. I'm surprised. But that's more money than I would spend on a squirrel puppet.
Well, so something that they have estimated to go for low money, and I think they're wrong, the Muppet movie branded film canisters.
I could see some, but yes, I will say that.
$300 to $500 for that. There's no way that's.
What are they at right now? People are saying that, even on that other show, they're saying that they think those will go for big money.
Yeah, I mean, they have that estimated
that's something
up to $500.
You stick in the corner of your movie room, and it's the center.
That's exactly what they said on the other show, and I agree. Yep. It'd be cool to have there.
Yeah, no, I
me,
thought
like,
that same thing.
The thing that I think is like an important piece, you know, in terms in the scope of all this stuff, the map from Muppet Treasure Island is like the map from Muppet Treasure, and again, they said there's only 2 of them. One's in Jim's office, or Brian Henson's office, I think, and this is the other one. That is like.
By the way, the film canisters right now, they're up to $7,000.
Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. I'm looking at it right now at $7,000, and the estimate was $300 to $500. I mean, that's just.
Well, we all know what estimate. I mean, there's a Labyrinth teaser movie poster that they estimated $100 to $200, and it's already at $500
for a freaking poster. You can get someplace else, but.
It's the one from the Henson Company.
There is and that's the thing. And if you really, I looked through this last week and I looked through it again today. The stuff that is being bid on is got like 20 bids. Each of them has like 20 bids, and most are blowing past the estimates. This stuff, I think, is going to go for all of it's going to go for big, or most of it's going to go for big money, for sure.
One thing. That, and you know, I love Muppets, and I've seen the Muppet movie. I don't know that I've seen all of the subsequent movies, but one of the ones I have seen, because my kids love it, is the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah,
and they've got Stadler and Waldorf's chains from when they were Marley and Marley,
absolutely,
and the cash boxes and the locks.
Those are cool.
Those are really cool, and those are also estimated $400 to $600, and they're already at like $2,000.
I know. So I had them on my. I would buy that because I like that movie too.
Because I was looking at that, saying this is something we could split up potentially.
Yeah,
there's enough stuff in there, but That's my kids love that sequence in that movie. So
the good thing is this is tomorrow, so no one's going to outbid us. Here's what I do have my eye on.
Okay.
And is not too expensive right now. There are 2 lots of tiki spears from the Muppet Treasure Island. They're only a couple. They're only like $600 or $700. Some of them come with 10 spears. I would totally. And there are great pictures with the pigs from the island with those spears. That would make an awesome display. I have my eye on those.
All right. Well, we could always, if you don't want all 10 of them, we could split that up.
I would think I maybe buy 10, make some displays, and sell 9 in a display.
There you go.
I mean, I got to say,
shut you right down, Barry. Boy,
yeah, he did. He was like, "Fuck you."
No. I didn't mean.
You're not getting on board this train, Barry. I think that warrants a little bidding on your own.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean. I thought that before you said you'd be interested. I didn't know if you would be interested in that.
Dave. I understand.
There's also like tools. Like you see a picture of here's Kermit, and then there's someone holding this Muppet axe, and they're selling like the Muppet axe. Those are cool things, and that to me is those 2 movies, the Muppet movie, the Christmas, and the Muppet Treasure Island are the 3 big ones to me.
Yeah. I agree.
Of that,
I've got a soft spot for Labyrinth, obviously, but they didn't have a lot. I mean, they had a goblin helmet, and they had a pocket watch that they made for the movie that Jim Henson kept for himself, and those things are going to go for a lot of money. So,
yeah. There was some other. There was a Fozzie costume in there, which is interesting. And then I guess there was a Muppets Tonight show a couple years ago.
Yeah, the most recent series, I think.
There's like Dr. Honeydew's motorcycle, which is cool. I think the thing is like this is something made by Henson Studios, owned by them, and it's a little connection to the Muppets.
Well, and they said it on that other podcast. They've said it in other interviews. Like that, you're never gonna. I shouldn't say never. Unlikely to get a Kermit or a Fozzie, like a real one. They don't let them out of their hands. So, I mean, the fact that we know. If you watch the Stuff Dreams Are Made Of podcast, you see a Stadler and Waldorf head every week sitting behind Ryan because he bought them in an auction and he paid a fortune for them. It was public what he paid for them. So that kind of stuff just doesn't get out there.
Yeah, I don't think that was necessarily. Who knows how those got out there? If there was a Kermit out there, it'd go for $1 million. I bet.
Oh yeah,
like a real Kermit.
For sure.
But the other thing is, and he was at Rhode Island. That Carol Spinney, who was Big Bird and also did Oscar. He was at Rhode Island once or twice. I wish I had gotten something signed by him. But he did original art that is actually really nice. There's a cool one with Oscar with a bunch of rats stealing his garbage can. I'm pro rat. I like all the rodents. But that's already some crazy money.
Well, and if we ever want to do a Muppet show, Tom Spina, our friend, used to work for the Muppets. So
he did.
He did. That was his first job out of first job in the industry was working for the Muppets doing puppet assisting.
He's got black market Kermits.
Well, I don't know that, but he certainly has stories he can tell.
No, they search you when you leave.
They do. Is that a frog down your pants? No.
I'm seeing green through your T-shirt.
He tried to smuggle Snuffleupagus out, but it was just too big.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little green through your T-shirt strip. Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, I think it's interesting how they're doing it and that they're letting stuff out. I do think it's only 435 lots. I think, and there is not any I don't think there's $200,000 items here, but I think some of these smaller things are going to go for big money, well over their estimates. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Good luck for them. I hope it works out. Okay, it's going in order. So the prop store auction is next, and that is on
5th to 7th.
Yes, I have that written right there, 5th to 7th. But yeah, again, both of these, this and the Heritage, are a little all over the place. The third day is all animation art for for this auction, which I don't know that they've done that before, which is interesting.
I've never seen that. As I was going through the lots, I was like, oh, there's a few animation lots, and then I realized, oh no, there's hundreds of animation lots.
Yeah, the end was all animation.
Todd, I will say there was something in there that I am seriously considering.
Oh really? Well, don't say it.
I'm not going to.
Tell us afterwards.
Yeah.
But Todd, there's Batman the original series animation art. Not the original series. Batman the animated
series. Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah. But let's just go through. I mean, my thing, there's a decent amount of alien stuff. They're calling it a lightweight pulse rifle. I don't know if that's different from a stunt pulse rifle.
I think that's another term for stunt.
Is it? Well, this one I thought is fiberglass. And
I don't know.
I think there's rubber ones too. Anyway,
the thing I liked about this pulse rifle is it's painted in the right original color.
Well,
scheme, and it doesn't say it was repainted.
No, well, the ones that were repainted were the real the hero one, not the hero, but the metal ones were repainted because the metal ones went back to Bapti in London and then were remade again. But the stunts,
because in Alien 3 they were black.
They painted some of them. They reused them for Alien 3
to the brown and green. But this one is painted in the Aliens color scheme. Which
that's sort of what discussion there has been out there of are the stunts more accurate than the heroes since the heroes have been repainted. But even there's Frost's T-shirt, and I do remember when we met Rico Ross. I remember either I asked him or someone before me asked him about what happened to the T-shirt. I think it was me because I had just bought. He has a shirt that has a picture of a pulse rifle and it says "Peace through superior firepower" on his shirt, and he wore that. So I had gotten one, and someone or maybe it was me, I don't know, asked him what happened to the shirt. He goes, "I have it. For years I played basketball in it." I didn't mean anything. So there's probably a couple. It's in this auction, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe it's his, or maybe there were more than one. But...
Yeah, but there's costumes and stuff, so that stuff is always cool.
And it's in and I got the little catalog in the mail, and something that's in here, and I also saw in the listings today. And I think if you were to buy this, you'd have to buy both of them because it worked best as a pair. But they've got the Austin Powers International Man of Mystery costume and the Dr. Evil costume. Those two together on mannequins next to each other would be not in your house, Dave, because I know there's a mannequin thing. But
no, she's okay if they're little people mannequins for some reason. I don't know why.
But I would love to have Dr. Evil and Austin Powers costumes.
Well, it's interesting. There's another props podcast that just came out, From Set to Shelf. Give you a shout out. A guy I'm friends with online, Dan Gaston, is the host of it. He used to work at Prop Store and stuff, and we've talked a little bit online. But he and this other guy started it, and I listened to the first 1 or 2 episodes. The guy he does, his partner, he collects a lot of different stuff. The other guy collects only Austin Powers. That's the only thing he collects.
Oh, wow.
And this guy is flown out. He lives in LA. He's flown to London to try to bid on, to buy something in an auction once. So I guarantee this guy's all over it. And he's like, I only buy one from one series of movies. So that's interesting.
Focus and narrow, keeping your...
That's wild.
Yeah.
Todd, anything jump out to you?
Heath Ledger Joker's pistol. I mean, that is just very, very cool. I mean, it's just such a piece of like Batman lore right there, and that would be an amazing thing to display. I mean, other than obviously like the fedora.
There is a Temple of Doom.
Nothing quite matches the allure of Christopher Lambert's trench coat from Highlander.
Oh, Todd, I was buying that for Barry for Christmas. Why are you ruining that?
I
was hoping you'd chip in.
There was a couple of things in there from Highlander.
That one to me is
the Kurgan thing.
I do not see that being. I guess people love that movie. Maybe I don't know.
Of course.
But yeah. Also, there's a Rocketeer helmet, and
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing that I spotted immediately and thought of you, Todd, was they've got a pyrotechnic pistol used in a bunch of the 70s Godzilla movies.
Oh, that's interesting. I missed that.
It was a Toho Studios. It was
The
in
lasery
Destroy
looking one,
Monsters.
the futuristic looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was
That's
in
cool.
Destroy All Monsters. It was in Godzilla versus Gigan, and it was in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Oh, cool.
And
No, I didn't pick up on that.
I mean, they're estimating it's going to go for $50,000, but
The freaking, I gotta say, I love props.
there's a lot of pictures though in the listings of the guys holding it in the like it's very prominent in the movie.
Yeah. The starting bids are just ridiculous, and everything's in pounds because it's a London auction,
Right.
which I think
In
people.
my spreadsheet, I did a formula to convert to US dollars, so I
What's
can see
the
what
what's the conversion rate? It was 1.3.
it's like 1.3. It's like a 1.31.
There was a time when I bid in one of the London auctions that the dollar was like 1.1, and now it's like an extra 20, whatever the math is,
Yeah.
20
No,
something
it's
percent more.
Quite a bit higher on everything. The numbers that you're looking at in the catalog are not
Yeah.
US dollars, people.
That's the thing. It's like, and they think they work interchangeably.
So, are either you guys excited about the Boba Fett gun?
I'm not. I don't really care that much about that.
I'm excited that it exists and that it's been found.
Boy, I kind of look at that, and it's like, boy, that is. I mean, all of those guns are cobbled together, but it's like when you look at that, it's like that is a Webley with some pipes attached. That's not. That is not a sophisticated build right there.
Well, none of them really were. The Sterling.
No,
with the
I know,
friggin'
but
It's a
rubber.
Webley, though. I think it was some type of flare gun, which is actually in a very uncommon gun. It's not a Webley.
That is a Webley. I'm telling you right now, that's a Webley. It's unless it's a Webley flare gun because it's got the grip, the trigger, the hammer, and the from a Webley. So it's. I mean, they could have made a flare gun also. I don't know that. But that's all. Every gun.
There's a whole video, like a 20-minute video
really
on
every gun part that's exposed on that is a Webley Mark 3 or 4. So that's interesting.
Yeah, there's a video up that Adam Savage and Tested did where they deep dive with the guy that restored it, and they talk about all the parts that are because some of what's there has been replaced.
Yeah,
Because it was just missing parts.
To me, I mean, I don't love Boba Fett. I think I like him more than I used to, but I don't think of a gun when I think of him. I think of the helmet. I think of the jetpack. I don't think of his gun. Have you ever seen him fire it? I mean, he lifts it up in the.
I think it's iconic in that you just the image of him you see. He's got it cradled across his chest.
Yeah.
It's
It does for the money for the
very
estimate.
simple. It's very simple looking when you look at it.
$350,000 to $700,000. It's to me. I don't know. It's not. I was more interested. Not that they're that much cheaper. Oh, well, they are cheaper. There are hero blank firing Rebel and Stormtrooper blasters, which are way more interesting to me.
Well, I agree, and actually, if I could keep one thing from this auction, I've got a couple of things I'd like, but I think that Hero Stormtrooper blaster is probably the one.
Yeah.
So, Todd, I just looked it up. It is a Webley, but it's a 1917 Webley & Scott #1 Mark I flare pistol.
Oh, interesting. So it uses the same receiver, grip, and whatnot as the standard Webley. That makes sense.
But I knew in the video that I watched, they said that what it's based on is an uncommon gun.
Right.
It's
which,
not.
Which, like I said, it probably uses the same grip frame.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So, and that's the part that's exposed. Yeah. Interesting. Again, more Superman bits.
Yeah, cape, a shirt,
Yep.
clapper.
And yep. So
There's the thing that when my wife was looking through the little catalog, there was one thing she was like, "Oh, that would be nice to have." So I have to mention it. There's a Game of Thrones dragon egg from the pilot episode.
Yeah, really. That was left over from that Game of Thrones auction, I bet, or repurposed.
And Dave, I picked out something for you. Lot number 186.
Did I write that down?
Sandy's camera from Greece. Olivia
I saw
Newton-John's
that.
camera.
I saw that. You see that for like all of a second.
Yeah, you do. But
I thought it was going to be the Tron suit. Cause...
Well, before we jump off Star Wars completely, there is a Rebel pilot helmet from Empire Strikes Back. You almost never see Rebel pilot helmets.
Nope.
I mean, it's got a big estimate, 200 to 400, but those things just don't show up in auction. So that's I think that's fairly unique too. The other thing with Star Wars, which again, props to the Props podcast, Stuff Dreams Are Made Of. They're always like, if you don't have a ton of money, that's fine. You could buy something simple like even a call sheet. So there's a lot with 22 Star Wars call sheets from the original Star Wars. The estimate is $5,000 to $10,000. Like, that is not a cheap prop. I'm sorry.
I mean, pieces of paper. Yeah.
Even call sheets are through the roof.
Well, you put Star Wars on anything that's legitimate, and it's so much more expensive than any. So regular call sheets are a couple $100. Star Wars call sheets.
Regular call sheets should be like $50, but not anymore.
There was something in here that I know, Dave, you're not a Lord of the Rings guy, but Todd, I don't know if you saw. They've got a Bilbo Baggins pipe.
Saw that. Yep.
From Fellowship, and I was like, that could be like one thing to represent the entire Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no, that would be
trilogy.
That would be like the one pipe to rule them all.
Yeah,
but how much is the estimate? It's a ton, I bet.
40,000 pounds.
40.
Okay, so the things that. Okay, put in here. Pick one thing that you think seems ridiculously expensive, and to me, I would say the Highlander jacket. I mean, the Highlander raincoat. I'm like, there's people that would pay £20,000 to £40,000 for that.
I'm bet Propster estimates are very high, and I think they're putting them out there to see what happens. And
it's in the same price range as the Barbarella.
The Barbarella stuff, there's like how many there's like 4 or 5 Barbarella things. And then even in day 2, there's Barbarella stuff. That stuff, and I think I mentioned
we talked about that in an episode that hasn't aired yet.
Yes, but they found those in an Italian costume house that's been, this stuff's been on the shelves since 1968 or on the rack since 1968. That Barbarella stuff, I'd rather have that than even the Highlander thing. There was, it's interesting. There were like 4 or 5 lots from Jason and the Argonauts.
I saw that,
which is awesome. I mean, that's like I feel like this catalog goes deep on stuff that there's Cleopatra stuff that
we haven't seen a million times, like freaking hoverboards and hoverboards. Sports almanacs from Back to the Future.
Spacesuit from The Martian, which I don't know that we've seen too much of that.
That was cool.
No.
Todd, did you see the Expanse? Alex's rifle from the Expanse. That was cool.
Yep.
There's an Expanse spacesuit in here too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are cool, but the estimates on those are ridiculous, too.
Well, that rifle, the estimate's £5,000 to £6,000. So that's, it's a lot.
That's
but it's
$10,000.
Okay, but that's not crazy.
That's
given
not
where
stuff
the
that we're
world
buying.
is. No, but there were Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm coffee mugs from Latte Larry's. And did you see that?
They had those in the last auction. I don't think they sold.
Did they? Those made me laugh. And now the one thing, if you guys are looking for a Christmas gift for me, they did have a Willow clapperboard.
I missed that. Okay, I'll go back and look.
Yeah. Estimate on that is £6,000 to £7,000.
That's ridiculous for clapperboards. Any clapperboard, except for like Jaws and Star Wars.
Return of the Jedi or something like that.
There is a stunt shotgun from Outland in this auction.
Yeah. Yep. I will say, if I was gonna start now and I had stupid money, I think it would be so cool to just pick, like, I would not pick Austin Powers as being the one thing I would do, but I think having like a weapons wall and just, getting Star-Lord's blaster and getting Deadpool's gun and an indie gun and just focus on that.
Gun?
I think could be really, really cool.
There's a stunt Webley in here from.
That's what I'm saying. There's one of the Webleys, and by doing that, it doesn't matter. You can intermix the stunt ones and the hero ones, and it's a thing that displays reasonably well. So
there's a Virgin Mary statue from Lost in here, and the estimates on those $4,000 is their estimate.
Now we've seen those. 5 or 6 years ago, when you pick it up, like it was under $1,000.
Under $1,000, and that's when I should have bought one.
And it was too. We thought it was too much then.
Yeah, now they're estimating about $4,000.
Yeah.
But you know what the crazy thing is? Like, so we've just maybe mentioned 20, 25 items. There's like 1,000 items in this guy.
There is there's so much stuff. I mean, there's like 50 Harry Potter things. There's like 20 Back to the Future 2 things. There's a bunch of Die Hard stuff. Here's a stupid one. Harrison Ford visited the set of E.T. and they gave him a visitor pass with his picture on it. The estimate for that is $5,000 to $10,000. Like, seriously? It doesn't.
I don't remember if it was this auction or the Heritage auction, but there's a bed that Harrison Ford made when he was
that's
doing
the Heritage
woodworking.
auction.
Yeah. Like that they're auctioning because it was handmade by Harrison Ford.
There's a Buddy costume, which, it's funny. I've had 3 different people say, oh, I saw that auction come up. There's a Buddy the Elf. I'm like, this is like the 5th Buddy the Elf costume that's been auctioned off. There's tons of them. Everyone remembers that one. But before we jump
on that is $200,000.
These guys are out of control. Before we jump to Heritage, there's one thing I'm going to have us jump from Prop Store at Heritage. There is a Tribble, Star Trek Original Series Tribble in the Prop Store auction. Estimate is $3,000 to $6,000 with a $1,500 starting bid. Now, in the Heritage auction, there is almost the identical Tribble, and the starting bid is $750.
Yep.
It's night and day how these auction people work. But I thought the Heritage auction was super heavy on paperwork and photographs and artwork. Not that that's a bad thing, but a ton of it. I'd say more than half. Not to this degree, I don't think.
That seems to be the one where I always see all that stuff. All the production stuff and all
there is a lot of the usually in the beginning of the catalog there's a lot of old like Hollywood photos and things.
Yeah. Prop Store goes alphabetically by movie, and here's the Heritage book. They go chronologically by movie. So one is alphabetical by movie. So the first thing in here is like from the 30s. Here you go. Yeah. Photographs from people you've never heard of from 1915.
That's not necessarily true, but yeah, go ahead.
Fatty Arbuckle. Okay, I've heard of him. The one thing I said there. What?
Louise Brooks is in there. There's a bunch of very famous people. If you watched films made before 1970, but. Still,
that's Barry. Barry doesn't watch anything.
They made movies before 1970. What is this you speak of?
1977. They didn't make any movies before 1977.
But I do like looking at that. I actually do like looking at that old stuff. I find that really interesting. That is heritage right there. That is the history of that business, and I find that I find that stuff more interesting than the marquee items, which are going to be insane. That's the.
You don't want a hoverboard for $250,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
There is a signed Harry Houdini postcard, which I think is awesome. I saw that. That would be amazing to have.
Yeah, and you know what? That's going to sell for nothing relative to the newer crap. So
I got my eye on that. It's a little high on the opening bid, though.
But what I do think is interesting, and we're seeing it across the board. Like, so we've been saying for a while. all right, so an X-Wing model sells for $3 million, and now you start seeing things like the Boba Fett blaster comes out of the woodworks and other things. We're seeing that now on the other side. So the Ruby Slippers sell for $32 million, and now all of a sudden you've got the Wicked Witch of the West's hat.
Yeah.
Which
this
is maybe the second most iconic thing.
Second hat, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying like these things were not even coming to auction.
There's a lot of Wizard of Oz stuff in here.
Yeah,
there's
I
her
noticed
shirt, and there's a book.
Well, there's other pieces of costumes too from other
way more,
characters.
Yeah,
but it's interesting to me that okay, so now because if you can't have the Ruby Slippers, the Wicked Witch of the West hat is probably the other most iconic thing from the Wizard of Oz.
Now it seems so. They sold in, I guess it was the same auction that the Ruby Slippers sold in. They sold a hat. It went for $2.9 million. That's a lot. This is supposedly the only other hat I read. I'm like, it's the only other hat. No, it's the only other hat that has a little chin strap for it to stay on. So I guess there's a ton of hats. But the opening bid on this is $100,000. How is that even? I mean,
but Heritage has a history for the most part of starting their bidding low. Yeah. When I was considering consigning something to them, they told me that they do $1 starting bids on most of their items. So.
But there's a book, the Wizard of the Oz book signed by Dorothy, whatever her name is. Help me.
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. I'm drawing a blank. But and someone else.
Before 1970, they were a thing.
Stop.
Go ahead.
I got a lot of info in my head here. But that's starting at $250,000. That's interesting. The hat to me,
a lot of Julie
she's not
Garland
going to sign anymore.
No, but the hat is a little more iconic than the book. I'm surprised it's so much more. You never know. There's a lot of old stuff. Did you guys see the Marilyn Monroe, the photo shoot of her in the harem costume?
Yeah,
it's like almost Leia's costume.
Yeah,
it's amazing. How
I've heard that in the past.
That
I've heard that it was.
I don't know that we've seen that before. There can't be more than one of them.
Probably not.
Yeah. But what else? There's the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
There's a couple of other marquee items in this catalog, which again, not anything that we would ever want to bid on. But there's a Conan painting by Frank Frazetta that is
I'm bidding on that. I don't give a shit.
Currently owned by Kirk Hammett from Metallica. He paid $1 million for it 10 years ago, and now he's starting bid on it is $10 million.
I think that is probably the highest starting bid we've ever seen for anything ever. $10 million starting bid.
But when you look at that Frazetta painting that sold a few months ago for $10 million, and it was not even Conan, it was like it was a cool painting and all, but it wasn't like a Conan painting. So I'd be curious to see what that. I mean that's in that realm of art collector.
That is like, I'm surprised it's actually in this auction.
Yeah, well, then the other one that I'm just surprised is not in Lucas's archive is the Tom Young painting from A New Hope for the half sheet poster.
The first, basically, what they claim is the first widely released promo art.
Yeah, I mean that is starting bid of $1 million.
Where the hell? I didn't read the whole story, and then in this catalog.
It was in a producer. I forget which producer, but it was in a producer's office.
Was it that Fred Roos guy?
No, it wasn't him. But it was somebody, I think.
Gary Kurtz.
Yeah.
The catalog has got 10 pages of that. It keeps going on and on and on about that painting.
It's a beautiful piece of art. I mean, it's embedded in our brains because we've all seen it a million times, but. Like, Lucas held on to almost all of that artwork, so the fact that this is not in his collection is
but
surprising.
He may have given it to Gary.
Yeah, it's very possible, and it was hanging in Gary's office, and I'm sure George didn't keep track of every single little thing, so... But yeah, that's crazy to me. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Something that is... go ahead, Dave.
No. They have the actual thing here... And I'm like, they're going on and on about something that has a $500 starting bid, but it's the lot before it, because then it goes into $1 million starting bid.
Something that I thought was really cool, they've got the hardcover edition of the 1977 Star Wars book signed by George Lucas.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So he signed it for somebody, but it was back when he was signing his full autograph. So that was pretty
It's
cool.
very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
I didn't even know there was I didn't even know that was released in hardcover.
Yeah, with that weird cover too. It's not
all I've ever seen is the paperback.
Yeah.
The
Lot
gold
38413.
Well, I have the hardcover that was the Science Fiction Book Club had a hardcover too. Let's see what else. The Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea sub.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Seaview. It's cool.
Yeah. Screen Match Hero one. There's some Forbidden Planet stuff, a full costume and a
full
hat.
Suit had that.
More Bob Peak art, which is interesting. We saw they did a lot of Bob Peak art in the last auction, but now there's some other stuff of his that's being auctioned off too. So Todd, if you're picking something,
another Rocketeer helmet.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
In case you missed the other one, you can pick one up.
Rocketeer helmets seem to be popping out of
No,
the
it's
woodwork.
not. It's not. It's the guy whoever wins it in the prop store auction is selling it in the heritage auction. That's why it's in there, like because that happens.
He has already listed it. There's a Blade Runner stunt rubber.
Yeah,
stunt
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yep.
That could be my thing if I had to pick something.
Yep.
There's also some music memorabilia stuff in there, and they've got an original version of the Beatles Yesterday and Today with the Butcher block cover, and that's already at over $10,000.
The whole last section is all music memorabilia.
Yeah.
Like the last, I don't know how many pages.
I for years wanted one of those Beatles albums, and it's now gotten to a point where I'll never own one because they're just the good condition ones are just too much money.
Oh, here's something for you. I know. Here, I'm giving you a choice of you have to choose one of these two things to buy.
Okay.
It's either the Highlander trench coat or the trench coat from Say Anything.
I would definitely take the one from Say Anything.
Even though that guy, John Cusack, for the third show, we're saying he was kind of a jerk at Rhode Island Comic Con.
At Rhode Island Comic Con a couple of years ago.
Doesn't change the movie.
I still love the movie.
I think it's the same coat.
Highlander.
Again, the guy's buying it as a Highlander coat and selling it as a Say Anything coat 3 days later.
It could also basically be a Silent Bob coat because it looks very much like the one that Kevin Smith wears.
What else? There's this whole giant collection of a producer named Fred Ruse, who it's pages and pages of. He kept a lot of stuff. He worked on a lot of 20th Century Fox stuff, Star Wars and stuff before and after.
I think that book I was talking about is signed to Fred from George Lucas.
Oh, okay, that was him.
Yeah.
There's also, before all that, there's a bunch of King Kong stuff. There's like 5 pages of King Kong things.
Yep.
Yeah. There's great stuff. I just, like we said, I don't necessarily understand the logic of these guys stacking all this stuff up on top of each other at the end of the year.
Do you think they're sort of in competition with each other now for some reason? I mean, that doesn't really make sense.
I think their buyers are the same people.
Yeah, they are. So
spread it out a little bit.
And is it an end of the year thing? Are they trying to? Is this a bookkeeping thing? Are they trying to get all this wrapped up before the year ends?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
they all do multiple auctions a year, so I guess they've got to space them out.
But we didn't have this last year that there were 2 within days of each other in December.
Not this close.
Not this close, yeah.
It's
one of the things
odd.
we didn't mention that I love all the Star Trek production stuff. Star Trek production art. The Matt Jeffries stuff is very, very cool.
So cool.
A lot of stuff that we've seen the images over and over for years in books. It's just really cool to see it for real. There's a it's $500. There's a Rick Sternbach concept design for the Equinox and Voyager, which is one of my favorite ships. That's kind of cool. It'd be neat to have something that he drew, and with some other stuff in that set, But the Matt Jeffries stuff is just, oh my God. Imagine having one of those things framed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And his artwork is so recognizable. Like, you see it immediately. You're like, oh, Matt Jeffries drew that.
Yeah.
Did you
So
see
they
the
do,
20?
as I mentioned to you guys, they've got stuff from Phase 2 misidentified as being from the original series, but still very cool. You get to see the in between Enterprise between the Enterprise that was and the Enterprise we got in the motionless picture. So
I would almost rather it was the other way, because I think identifying it as Phase 2 might help keep the cost down.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah,
Although those are like hidden gems now. People are really into that, finding stuff from there. Did you see the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea turtle banjo?
I did
No.
not.
I am like, I don't even remember. I haven't seen that. That's another movie I got to see again. I haven't seen that in such a long time.
I just watched that. I do remember the turtle banjo now, but I did not see it in there.
Yeah, it was
That
crazy.
that is an interesting film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of stuff. If anyone's bidding on any of this stuff, good luck. Let us know what you win. If you're someone who's a diehard Muppets fan, and it's a tough time of year to buy. Anyone buying the big items, money's no object. I feel like.
I guess, but when you put this many items up all at once, certain people who even have deep pockets are having to pick and choose what they're going after.
Yeah, true. But we'll see. There's a lot out there right now. Why don't we go? Well, we're not going what's in the box. I'm going to do something. Or Barry, are you doing something different?
I'll do work. I'm going to do what's on my
We're going
workbench.
to do a couple different things. Ty, do you have a what's in the box?
I got a what's in the box, but I can skip it for now. You guys can just do Workbench. That's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll just save it.
All right, we're going to do a little workbench. Barry, what's on your workbench?
Well, I don't know if I ever mentioned it on the show. I know you guys are aware. A couple months ago, I started accumulating the pieces and parts I needed to build a studio scale X-Wing. And I have been not nervous, but I've kind of been putting off starting it because I know it's going to be a big project. But I did officially kick off working on it over the last couple days. So I figured I would talk about it. This is something that I'm probably going to be building over the course of months, if not a year. So I've made very little progress, but I'm starting with the laser cannons. Is the first thing I'm going to start with. So,
Laser.
So the castings for the main parts come with this giant piece of whatever this is, resin on the ends that have to be cut off. So I've done one of them so far. I cut it off, and this is an end cap that goes on. So that's what it looks like cleaned up. That's what it looks like uncleaned up. But the actual lasers themselves are 9 pieces of resin, and then 9 sections of brass tubing that all get set up in different lengths, and they all nest within each other.
Jeez.
And then that gets recessed into there. So there's a lot of prep work to do just to get that.
How do you join those brass things with super glue or something?
Super glue, yeah. And I've got, thankfully, one of the people I'm in a group that, is building these things, and somebody actually laid out the exact measurements and how much of an overlap on each one, because some of those pieces of brass only stick out a fraction, like a little bit,
geez.
And it ultimately builds out that staggered, tapered gun, and then at the very tip, you get this cup and this little C-shaped thing,
Right.
that the brass actually extends through that.
Yeah.
And then
there's
there's
4
these
of
other
those.
pieces that go on the side of the cannon, and I'm realizing that all of this material around this needs to be cut down, and there are pipes that go in. It's very, very involved.
Yep.
So I've got, these are all the parts for the other 3 cannons I haven't even started working on yet. So I've got a lot of work to do on that. This is the aluminum armature that I got to make the wings move.
Yep.
Oh, that's
So
the thing you
this
got
will
from those people from England, right?
Yeah, we Canada. They were from Canada. They were British, but they live in Canada.
That's
Kind
true.
of looks
They
like
were British.
Kind of looks like a TIE fighter when you look at it straight on the end.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is going to be big. This is the part of the fuselage.
Wow.
I mean, this thing is going to be very, very large, with a large wingspan. And that armature sits inside the top and bottom of the
And
main.
then it has things to screw in to put it on a base.
It does, yeah. There are multiple mounting points, but I think this part you can actually mount through the back of the vehicle, and I think I'm going to have something come out and down to a base. You can also mount into there are holes all around this octagon, but to do that you've got to drill through either the bottom or side of the ship and mount that way.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to mount from the back and then down to a base.
That's cool.
But this is going to be
Barry, what's on the actual production ones? Where is it? Is it back mounted or is it? Do you know?
No,
They
well,
changed
no.
it,
The
probably.
production ones have multiple mounting points depending on where they attached it for which camera angle.
Or they have like plugs?
So, they do actually, yeah. The bottom piece is too far away,
Yeah.
but they mount through the sides through these holes here. Plus, they mount through the bottom. Plus, the droid socket. There's another mounting point if they take the droid out, so they could mount the ship upside down. And then there's a cap on the back. So there's multiple mounting points on the Hero ones, and even on the Pyros, the way that they mounted them, depending on the angle and where the camera was going to be. And there are caps that go on to cover those holes.
Interesting.
But most of I'm just going to attach those, and I'm not going to go for the whole true Hero version with the multiple mounting points. I think I'm just going to do the one. But so
That's
a
cool.
lot more to come. I'll probably give updates on this every couple months as I make some progress. But if I can get to the end of the year and maybe have some of the lasers attached and assembled, I'll be happy. I had to order more brass rods for the little side pieces. Thank God somebody out there has already measured the diameters, so I know I needed 3/16 pieces of brass. Thankfully, Amazon carries those. So
Always go to K&S Metals. Right to their website. They sell everything. They're actually good to deal with. Not sponsored, but they're good.
So before we move on, one of Barry's, we don't have to go into detail on this, but one of Barry's models got a lot of exposure this weekend, and we'll hear about that more soon.
yeah, that model has been well traveled at this point.
Yep.
It started out on Long Island and it's been to Massachusetts and now upstate New York. Oh, and probably I guess Virginia.
And hopefully we'll come back to
Maryland.
Massachusetts uninjured, but still
If
very
not,
very
it'll
cool.
make a stop back here, and I'll make sure it gets
much
back
like
to
the
you.
original itself, which needed touch up. But like I said, yeah, that's very cool, and it's a beautiful piece, and this will be less cryptic in the weeks to come. But
Yeah, I was and again, I'll keep it cryptic, but I was happy to see pictures of it in its environment and
Yes.
certain people holding it. It was very nice to see that.
it's become a piece of history now. So
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Yeah, so that's what's on my workbench. Dave,
Cool. All
What do
right,
you got?
what's on my workbench? Not from Dave's workshop, but it's something I'm building myself. I'm just going to put two pictures. Oh, wait a second. Hang on a second. Two pictures in the chat for you guys, and I'll drop them in here. So one of my issues is, and this is a long-standing issue since I got rid of my pickup truck in 2018, is how do you transport a sheet of plywood? And it's a pain in the ass. So, these days I need more plywood than I have because I sometimes from Dave's workshop I need plywood to build bases and stuff. So last week I needed a sheet, and I'm like, oh, I can have it cut because I know roughly what size I can, and I could get the cut pieces in my truck. I have a big SUV, so I am standing around the wood department of Home Depot for 20 minutes, and there is not a person who works there to be found. I'm like, I just need a piece of plywood to be cut in half.
You just don't go over and cut it yourself?
With that track saw thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, first of all, it needs a code. I've seen them put the code in. I don't know what it is.
Oh, ours does not need a code. I've just done it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
when
strongly discourage us from doing that in my Home Depot.
When I put the floor in our crawl space, I went in there with measurements, and I cut two pieces to the right
they won't
measurement.
let us do this.
And then took an inch and a half off each. Took an inch and a half off the one left over in the end, so they could fit into the crawl space door.
So I'll tell you what I do. Well, sometimes is Home Depot has a thing and they'll cut it for you. And I've had stuff cut.
Yep.
Lowe's does not cut anything. I have bought stuff at Lowe's, taken it out to the parking lot, and literally have my circular saw and clamps and shit, and have cut it in half on a cart.
That's funny.
But like, it's winter, and I'm not doing that. So anyway, like I said, I have this big SUV, and I have designed a roof-mounted rack to carry plywood. And I'm going to carry
roof rack, okay, but how do you strap the plywood down to the roof racks?
Okay, I'll show you. So I designed, I have the Land Rover Defender, and it's got this weird rack that has, I don't know what, it's like a channel, and you could put something in it and slide it. So a bolt, well, here's the thing that I built.
Yeah.
It goes in, and then it slides and it won't come out. So I actually designed and 3D printed these. And this goes in, and a 2x4 goes across, and then another 2x4 goes on top of it, so the plywood is sandwiched between two pieces of plywood. You're basically
clamping it down.
And I'm clamping it down. Well, with a built-in clamp.
Right.
So the problem with my truck is when you put stuff in the rails, these little things, now they have, you see a Defender, they'll sell you all kinds of crap. Most of it's useless. You could buy a thing to put a tent on. You could buy a ladder. You could buy all kinds of stuff. So they all go into this rail. When you put this thing into the rails, I know this is fascinating, it's not straight up and down. It goes like this.
Right.
So I had to design it to be able to get it on this way. And so I built the back one, and I engineered it so I could put the pieces of the 2x4s over this. And then I'm like, that works. I'll build that a second time. Built that a second time. My rails are like this in the back and get wider in the front.
So the angle's not the same.
The angle's not the same. To rebuild. So I'm working with like multiple compound angles to do it. Anyway, I finished it. I'm going to get a piece of plywood tomorrow. I'm very excited. And
you're not afraid that the 3D printed piece is strong enough?
No, No, this is solid ABS between two clamps. I've actually stolen this design from something else. Yeah.
At your Home Depot, do they have like pickup trucks parked that say for
but you got to drop your truck there, even for $20 to take one piece of plywood back? I refuse to do that. I've done that multiple times.
Okay, what is the value of your time that you spent building?
You had fun doing it.
That's exactly the point. I had fun doing it. That thing's been rolling around in my head. Hey, when I built a shed over COVID. It's out there. Yep. And this year I actually built an annex to it because I just didn't have enough room, and I was under my zoning limit for how much I could build without a permit. So I built it. So I had Lowe's deliver it. I'm like, for $65, I needed 4 pieces of plywood, and I needed like 25 2x4s and blah, blah, blah. They delivered the wrong shit. And I literally took me 5 phone calls, 2 trips down to Lowe's, and 4 days to have them pick up the wrong stuff and return the. So it's like, I need to be able to pick up a piece of plywood. So that's my answer, Todd. And I don't want to drive 10 minutes to Home Depot, 15 minutes to Home Depot, leave my truck there, rent their truck for $20, drive it back down, drive the truck back up, and just to get a piece of plywood. I'd rather spend.
I think you should have 3D printed yourself as a pickup truck.
I should do that. Do you know how many times I look at why don't I just buy a pickup truck, and where am I going to park it? I'll just spend $10,000 for a used pickup truck to buy plywood 3 times a year.
Okay, what about a utility trailer?
I thought about that. The utility trailer, the whole ply was about $1,000. And unlike Barry, when I ordered my Defender, I did not get the hitch put on. To get the hitch put on now is $3,500.
Well, and I want to be clear, I don't have a Defender, but my Jeep
When
does
did
have
you
a
get a
trailer.
Defender, Gary?
But you had your thing. I should have had it. Meanwhile, it's $2,500 when you're building the car. It's $3,500 after the car.
Well, and look, I enjoy having a trailer hitch on my Jeep. I've never once ever towed anything with it.
Yeah.
And had it not been on, again, you guys know, I bought my Jeep during COVID, and I was lucky to find one at all, and it happened to have a trailer hitch
I know.
on it,
I wish
so
should have
that's the one
bought
I
it.
got.
But this thing took me a day to build, and I tested it. It works. I'll let you know when the freaking plywood literally rips the hood off the Jeep,
I'm just
the
thinking
truck.
the rails at all may come off with
You
the
have to explain to your insurance carrier why.
There's no way.
You
These
dropped a
things are
piece
solid.
of plywood on the hood of your car at a stop sign.
or the vehicle behind you has that Final Destination moment.
Yeah.
The plywood comes through their windshield.
It's not going to happen. I'm telling you. I've engineered this.
I have faith in you, Dave.
Thank
Well, this
you.
is good because that will give you the ability to bring home the wood we need to
That's
build
what I was
that.
saying. I do need
Yeah.
a full sheet of Luan to. You can't cut that up first to do that, so we'll have to get that. But anyway, that's my saga of. It's just everyone needs a pickup truck. Ty, do you have one? Does a sheet of plywood fit in the back of your Ridgeline?
Yeah, it's fine. It fits fine. Yep. Yep.
I mean, even though
It
I
hangs
had
out over the tailgate if I leave the tailgate up, but it's still I can get it in there. So.
Yeah, my F-150 had a 5-foot bed. I mean, the days of an 8-foot pickup truck bed just don't exist anymore unless you have a cab that just seats 2 people. Yeah. So, anyway.
A tailgate is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that was just about something about me for me because it's annoying to me.
Hey, why not? You've got all the tools you need to design and build the piece. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's what's on our workbenches. All right. We're closing in. This was episode 598. We're closing in on 600. We do have a very special show lined up for episode 600. It will be a lot of fun. As Barry mentioned, it will be audio only just because of logistics, but it will be interesting and fun, and we'll have fun doing it.
Right, and I know I think we touched on something maybe last week or the week before, and I was saying I don't ever like to jinx anything until we know it's for real, but we know it's for real now. So.
That's for sure. We know. So we'll let you know. More on that soon.
Yep.
Well, when it comes
Very
out.
soon.
Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But it'll be fun. All right. And if you need a display or plaques or anything, check out From Dave's Workshop, FromDave'sWorkshop.com. I am building a bunch of plaques for my most prolific customer. I've made him 50 plus things. And I can't say what he needs plaques for, but I'll tell you guys afterwards. It's pretty cool.
Well, and now if you need a giant plaque the size of a piece of plywood, Dave has the ability to get the materials.
If you need a 4x...
No, he can make it.
So interestingly enough, I made this thing wide enough to hold a 4x8 sheet of plywood, but I use a lot of Baltic birch, especially for backgrounds on displays, because it's like super high quality plywood. Baltic birch, made in the Baltics, I guess. Anyway, it comes in 60 inches by 60 inches. So I made this thing to have 2 different sizes. It could carry 4-foot wide plywood or 60-inch plywood, because I'll need, different size plywood. So if you need a 60 by 60 thing, I can make it. You need a 96 by 48 thing. I don't know how I'll ship it, but
Dave is ready to go. You just be waiting for that phone to ring.
I'll tell you
Come on,
something
people.
about some guy wanted me to make too that I'll talk to you about after the show. And thanks for listening and watching.
Thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks for watching and listening. Bye.